Hi everyone, welcome to another session. In this session, we will discuss about threat modeling. We will divide this topic in two parts. This is part one, and we will also continue our discussion in part two, where we will discuss about threat modeling in detail. Uh, but let's discuss about threat modeling part number one. Uh, in this diagram or in this image, you can see stride threat modeling framework. There are multiple threat modeling frameworks, but in this video, in this session, we will focus on stride. But this particular framework also we will divide into two parts. I will try to cover. Uh, we will try to cover this topic in detail. As you can see, it is developed by Microsoft, and it's a mnemonic to remember six common types of threats. Number one, spoofing. Spoofing means impersonating another user or devices using stolen login credential. Second thing is tampering. Unauthorized modification of data or code, for example, altering files or configuration. So uh, you temper the data, code, or files or configuration. Repudiation. Repudiation means user denies their action without proper logging. As we all know that if proper logging is not in place, then if an attacker performs or if the user performs any activity on system, he or she can deny their action without proper logging. So I did not delete that file. I did not modify that file. So repudiation. Information disclosure. So leaking sensitive information, for example, data breaches, unsecured data. Denial of service, very common attack, making a system or resources unavailable, for example, flooding a server with traffic. Elevation of privileges. So gaining higher access than authorized. For example, normal users become an admin. So stride is used during threat modeling, especially in software development or system design to identify potential vulnerabilities and ensure secure architecture. So this help us to identify the vulnerabilities, and if there are vulnerabilities in that particular system, so then we need to identify how those vulnerabilities can be exploited and how we can protect our system, uh, how we can protect our system using this threat modeling framework. Stride is indeed most commonly used in software development and system design because it was originally created by Microsoft to help developers identify potential threats during the design phase of application and system. However, you can apply Stride to network infrastructure as well, so with some adoption. So, for instance, if we uh, how Stride applies beyond software development. For instance, if we talk again about these categories, spoofing. Let's say example in software design, attacker uses stolen credential to log into an app. Example in network infrastructure, attacker spoofs IP MAC addresses to bypass network infrastructure for firewall or any networking device. Tampering, hacker could modify app code or data in transit. All example in network infrastructure, alters network configuration or intercepts packets. Repudiation, no logging of user activity in app. So when user performs any activity on the app, there is no evidence, and evidence can only be connected if the logs are properly forwarded to the logging servers. So this way, uh, uh, user can deny it. No log for access to in networking infrastructure, no logs for access to network switches or any VPN infrastructure, for instance. Information disclosure, data leakage through insecure APIs, sensitive data sent over encrypted channels, denial of server app crash due to malformed malformed input, network flooded with traffic, DDoS attack, for example. Elevation of privilege, normal user gain admin access in app, attacker gains root access to routers and switches. So, in summary, Stride was designed for software threat modeling, but it is flexible enough to be used for network infrastructure by interpreting the threats in the context of network components. So, so as initially it Microsoft has designed for the developer, that was initial thought about it, but it can also be used in the context of network components. You can use Stride for network threat modeling, especially if you think of network assets, routers, firewall etc. in place of software components. So that's a quick overview about a brief overview of threat modeling, a framework which calls Stride. But let me tell you one more thing, that uh, what we have discussed until now, it's quite high level. To make it actionable, especially during threat modeling, we need to apply it to a specific system or scenario and identify technical implementation of each threat category, like spoofing, tampering, repudiation, information disclosure. So, in upcoming session, we will walk through step by step with with the sample web application scenario, and we will focus on all these categories one by one, because this is very high level. So in upcoming session, we will discuss the technical examples of every single category. So that's it uh, for this part one session. Thank you so much for watching this video. Any question or comment, please share in the